Tonight, Jamie's not going to come, so we need to appoint a president pro tem. I move to appoint Ben Detloff, president pro tem.
I'll second.
You have a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ben, come on up,
Okay.
or you can do it from there.
Yeah, you know what, I probably will, I'll get too nervous and I'll say, what's he talking about?
That's fine.
So, it's time, so I'd like to call this meeting to order. Start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sir. Vice President Conklin. Yes. Ms. Bruni.
Here.
Ms. Danahay.
Here.
Mr. Detloff.
Here.
Mr. Morgan. Present. Ms. Worrell. She's not coming as far as. Not coming. Okay. And Ms. Wheeler.
Present.
Do we have a motion to approve minutes from the previous meeting?
I'll move to approve the board minutes from August 21st, 2023 as presented. I thought there was a minor typo error, but I thought everything else was intact.
I'll second.
We have a second.
What is that meeting date?
8:21.
8/21.
Do we have any public comments this evening?
Hang on, I forgot to take a vote.
Oh, sorry.
Motion to approve minutes of previous August 21st meeting, motion made by Mr. Morgan. Yes. Second by Ms. Danahay,
Yes.
Ms. Bruni,
Abstain.
Mr. Detloff,
Yes.
Ms. Wheeler.
Abstain.
Three of us. It's okay.
Yeah, we're good.
We're past.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. That's enough. It's majority.
And do we have any public comments? this
None
evening?
that have signed, but we were kind of disorganized. Anyone care to speak out there?
Anybody have anything? No? Okay, thank you. Approve bills for payment.
Yes, I'd like to move to approve bills for payment dated September 1st, 2023 from the corporate general fund in the amount of $20,111.47. Also dated September 1st from the best fund, $1,893.57. I'd also like to move to approve payroll in the August 19th, 2023 in the amount of $17,452.37. Ending August 22nd, 2023 in the amount of $716.93.
I'll second. I have questions regarding the bills.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so under the card member services, it is stated for training. What training are we talking about?
That's one of Carl's voice term.
Okay, so,
If you need more detail, you'll have to ask.
okay, but when I do the breakdown for this, it's not adding up. The only thing that I can see that fits the total to make it the complete amount is the park improvements of 1715.
That'd be the mulch.
I don't know, all it says is park improvements, 8/22/23 for $1,715.
So that's the chairs.
No, it's not the chairs, the chairs are somewhere else.
Chairs for probably in 2 places because they're like 3,000.
Chairs 1893.57, is that correct?
Yes,
Right,
That's
that's
the one
not-
for the best way we can take them.
okay, but this is park improvements, not best, and when you look at I know you guys don't have this, what's this called, GL,
Yeah.
Summary? which I highly encourage you guys start asking, make sure you get a copy of this. Because it gives a real breakdown of what goes where. But no, that's not it. I did the breakdown of it. So do we know what this park improvements was?
What's it for? It seems to be missing, as you know.
So right here, back here, you can see this is where the chairs were. But the other page,
Yeah, but the chairs were like $3,000.
okay,
So
so,
they're paying for two different places.
that doesn't add up. And then, so why would one of them say chairs and the other one say park improvements?
But that's the name of the GL. There's actually in the past,
Okay,
a
so can I
line
see
item that says,
Yeah, no, I know, we have that in the budget.
but as far as the park's concerned, it doesn't have chairs. It says park improvement.
Say that again?
In the general ledger, there's a line item that says park improvement. There's no line item that says chairs. But in the Fest account, there's a general ledger line that says chairs. It say more than chairs, but it does say chair.
It says table/chairs on there.
Tables, nice
So
chair.
that is
That's-
accounted for here, but this one is a different posting, so I'm asking about the one from 8/22. That doesn't really make sense.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Seem to be
So
missing
here you go.
things,
This is
yeah.
the one that I'm asking about.
Yeah, we'll add up more than 3,300.
Correct. So I would like to move to hold off on that until we get clarification on that credit card charge.
But it might be in everybody's best interest if we wait and get clarification on it before we vote on accepting it, because
I
we
agree.
don't know exactly what we're voting on.
Okay, so then the total for corporate's gonna change then? Is that what we're doing?
Yep.
So then we'll be,
But I have that back as apparent
Yeah.
information. And it will-
And maybe we can make a note that, when we do receive clarification on this, then we can discuss it and bring it to the board. Right now, we don't know what we're voting on.
For next meeting.
Yes, sir.
so it should read, let me just double check this, you know me. It could read $17,716.11 for corporate.
Okay, what is the amount of that credit card charge we're disputing?
Oh, I have to look at it, sorry.
2395.36.
Oh, that part, yeah.
Hey, maybe you and Mr. Morgan could look into this for next meeting and have an answer for us, and then
Yes,
we can move forward with it.
Because I'd like to meet also to go over the payroll stuff that we were talking about.
okay. So I'm still figuring. Yeah, we're gonna take this number, because this looks right, $17,716.11 is what the corporate general fund amount would be for September 1st. That excludes basically $3,608.57.
Hold it.
I'm sorry, I'll go back to it.
$23.95 is what I was told.
Right.
It's a different amount.
17,760.
Right.
The amount in
It's
dispute.
excluding the $2,395.36.
Okay,
I'm reading the wrong number. Yeah, because it's, the other one is still okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
Are we
that's
all
everybody else set?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Motion to approve the following amounts for dated September 1st, general fund in the amount of $17,716.11. September 1st also fest fund, $1,893.57.
57 cents, yes.
Payroll, August 19th, $17,452.37. And payroll in August 22nd, the amount of $716.93. In question is a credit card charge for $2,395.36, which will give clarification on what it is.
I'm sorry, I do have another question, regarding payroll this time. Why was there two, payroll checks that were separated that were?
On the last session, we'd already paid, or the payment was already in process to pay the police. When Roger said that his payroll was incorrect, if
Oh.
he deducted that amount,
Okay,
what we did is we rescinded the amount that previously been deducted. So
okay,
that what was taken from his salary and from another person's salary, we wanted to put it back in until we could resolve
Got
that
it.
issue.
okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
Payroll stays the same.
Okay, any further questions? Okay,
Are we all set now?
we're ready for vote. Motion is made by Mr. Morgan
Yes,
and seconded by Ms. Bruni.
Yes.
Ms. Danahay,
Yes,
Mr. Dedlock,
Yes.
Ms. Weider.
yes,
Now, we've already approved payroll, correct?
Yes,
yes.
Okay, so we'll move on to department reports. Mr. Scott Dillman?
I do not have anything other than I'm planning on picking up the train cars that we pull around for the Grant Park Fest. I'm planning on picking them up Thursday morning with use of the village truck. And then taking them back first part of the week, the following week. So that's about the only thing I got.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Where will the train cars be?
They'll be stored in my garage.
No, for at fest time,
Where will
here
it
at the
be?
park.
Yeah, wanted to talk with you about that. Dad's really concerned about driving them around downtown. As far as safety on the streets and things like that during the fest. So what we're talking about, but we can talk further upon investigation. Is to be here when the kids come Friday after school, after that umbrella parade. They're gonna be here for an hour or two or whatever, playing things like that. He'll be here to give rides then. And then Sunday during the car show, he's talking about being here then. We'll play it by ear for Saturday. We'll have them, but
What I'll have, Sunday is, I was talking to Mr. Dykeman, we're gonna have a portion of the grass area flagged off. I don't have anybody around the flowers or the gazebo where the cars are gonna park. Food vendors are gonna be in this parking lot out in front, and then some of them want to park in the grass, the cars, some on the street. So, yeah, I'm sure we can figure something out.
yeah, we've had no issues in the past with car shows,
So,
yeah, driving around. Things like that, but they're just gonna have to play it by ear for town.
I understand Taylor Street is gonna be crowded right now, and I don't know if there would be room to be driving any kind of.
We don't wanna do it up and down Maple Street, because you're out of the eyesight of the parents. We're here, they are in eyesight, that kind of a thing.
You know, I mean, definitely on Friday, Saturday, I don't think there's much going on.
Right.
And I don't see an issue, but it's just not, up to me. I think it's up to the village board. We can make a decision right now, so your dad kind of knows what he's doing, and he can make his plans on what time he wants to be here and what time he wants to close down for the evening or whatever, so. Does anybody have any questions or concerns on that?
sounds good.
Whatever Papa Dillman wants.
That's kind of what Jamie, when we had talked, he says, when he wants to start for as long as he wants to do it, kind of kind of thing.
Well, then why don't we just figure on doing that?
Yeah,
That way.
usually a couple hours it runs its course. Nobody
Yeah,
will-
and he'll have an answer and it's not like showing up here and I'm like, what do I do? Just.
Right.
There's gonna be kids, after the umbrella parade are gonna be here and I'm sure they're gonna take full advantage of it. And I'm sure there's gonna be kids around on Sundays, so.
We hope there's kids after the umbrella parade because school lets out at 11 something Friday.
Already,
Yeah, so it's not the normal end of day
well,
type of thing that they would leave school and come here. So we're hoping they come back to do the parade. So that's kind of, we don't know what's gonna happen there. It's well advertised for the kids to come back. You know, we've already sent out feelers to the school for that, so.
all right. Well, we'll, after Friday, we'll play each day by ear and figure out what's gonna work the best.
Okay.
Weather seems like it's gonna cooperate, so that was be the biggest concern. All the rest of it will somehow fall in place.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't have anything from the attorney and I don't have anything from the engineers. But I do have one concern that I want to bring up in front of the village board. Saturday, I walked the asphalt path. And I do want to meet with Neil or one of his representatives. Because the work is subpar on the asphalt. There's holes, the whole length of it, the size of a quarter, they go from a quarter to 3/8 of an inch deep. And they're spotted, and what's gonna happen in the wintertime, water's gonna get there. And, you know, we're only talking 4 inches of asphalt. And the compaction on the sides is terrible. And the compaction, which is gonna happen is it's gonna undermine and that's gonna start breaking away. So that is a concern, and I don't know if the engineers have signed off on this or not when Gallagher Asphalt was there. I watched Gallagher work a little bit, and Saturday I went over there. And I walked the length of it, so I will talk to the village president and see if I can have a meeting with Neil or one of his representatives, but I think we need to make sure that we're getting our money's worth on this, and from what I've seen, I wouldn't accept it. Asphalt is somewhat porous like a sponge, but not where you can get water to go in there. What's gonna happen is it's gonna freeze. And you know, we're faced with winter. Now it's gonna go ahead and expand and I'll be lucky if that asphalt lasts 2 years from what I've seen there. So I didn't take pictures. I'd rather walk out there with the engineer if he has any questions, or I could say, here's my concerns. And then I looked on the two edges on the compaction where they compacted their stone to put the asphalt on it. And it's not very tight. They, instead of using a road mix like 3/4 to dust, once you wet it down, it tightens up like concrete. It's just a lightweight gravel and you can almost dig it out with your fingers. So if a good rain comes through there. And then I have another question. That ditch that goes alongside the road, that ditch is gonna take runoff water down towards Love's, which is gonna go into the creek, which will go into Trim Creek, which will go into the river. So we cannot bring that elevation up. But what's gonna keep anybody from driving off the side of the asphalt down in the ditch? You know, I looked, they have stainless covers for their davits that go in place. And the davits will be removed in the winter time to remove snow, and I don't know how the village had planned on removing the snow, but. The davits are, they're locked by a key, they're stainless plates that are set in there, and once the davits are in, they're gonna keep any vehicle.
The davit is the name for those poles that are.
Yeah,
going
the
in
poles
there?
that'll
Okay.
go in just like a bumper pole or so. So you won't be able to go around them because there's not room on either side, but I'd like to talk to the engineer. There are a couple of concerns I have is the work that Gallagher Asphalt did. And I don't know if they signed off on the work, but there should have been a representative there watching the work as it, you know, went ahead, and if there was any questions. But the marks that are in there aren't just a little mark here and there. It's the whole length. I walked the whole length and it's really not acceptable. And it is gonna cost us some money, even though we have a grant and money's gonna come from a couple other departments, I believe, right, Gary, from
You know, the rebuild Illinois is gonna be most of it.
but I mean, we still need to be careful with the funds and we need to look into that. So I will talk to the village president and see if I can have a meeting with him, and I will meet with him and express my concerns and bring a report back to the village board and say, here's what we came up with, but what we have out there right now is not gonna work for us. So, anyway, let's, we'll move on. Ms. Weedle, ordinances and insurance committee?
Yes, I'm second reading, ordinance O-8-23-2. Like a motion to approve the ordinance amending the salary and other compensation for all appointed officers and employees of the Village of Grant Park, Illinois for the fiscal year 2023-2024.
We're gonna table that.
Can I make a motion to? The reason is it was supposed to be fixed. And the attorneys, I think, are working on it, but it didn't get fixed. So do you want to make a motion about tabling?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to table O-8-23-2 until the corrections are made.
Second,
And may I ask what corrections were the attorneys working on?
It says on here that the part-time community center cleaning person makes $20 an hour. And we've discovered that that is untrue. It's $20 per visit
Cleaning, yes,
or cleaning, or yeah, session, whatever.
yes,
And so that needs to be made clear
clear on the
as
paper.
opposed to $20 an hour, because that can easily be taken, advantage of if not careful. So it needs to be worded correctly.
So that's what the village attorney is working on, the wording of it.
Yeah, because she talked about it at the end, and we thought she was gonna fix it. Well, she's
Okay.
not here.
And I thought it was 50 for the weekend. Coming in
Well,
on
see, that's up in the air then too, because I think we all thought it was $20 a session. But, it might be something different.
It's been,
3 or 4 different hands like this.
it's been paid out at $20 an hour. So, I mean, an hour, well, that's what it says, but it's actually a visit. I mean, corrections.
that is all I have.
Thank
We need
you.
a vote.
Oh, vote. Yes,
Okay, motion to table, ordinance O-8-23-2, motion was made by Ms. Danahay,
Yes.
seconded by Ms. Weedle,
yes.
Ms. Rooney,
Yes,
Mr. Dedlaw,
Yes,
Mr. Morgan.
Yes,
thank you, Ms. Weedle.
You are welcome.
Streets and Alley Committee, Ms. Sylvia Danahay.
So, apart from, the normal stuff that the spray patching, the branches, the mowing, et cetera, that the public works have been doing, we did get a complaint. I believe this is Southeast Main, the Viaduct Road. I guess people have been complaining about that road.
The Farm Road?
Yes, and it says that it's not, there's a sign that says not maintained by the village. And I guess they're talking about a huge drop off and the culvert is bad, which I did drive down there with Steve and yeah, it's not great, but it's not a simple fix.
No, it's not. I'm real familiar with that road, like that white house near the grain elevator. My understanding, that is not in Grand Park. That house is unincorporated or whatever you want to call it. Far as I know, that road, as long as I've lived here, never has been maintained. A few years ago, we put up a different sign to make it clear that this is an unimproved road that just, you know what people are complaining about it? Because generally, just farm equipment is the only ones that I know. Jeremy, from Yellowhead Township takes care of the south end of it up to a certain
Yes.
point.
So the-
And then
right.
Grand Park, we really haven't done anything to that.
Right, and we
Yeah.
do have it posted, basically,
Yes.
enter at your own risk, but it doesn't say that. But that it's not being maintained, so I didn't know what the village wanted to address this at all, and just letting you know that it was brought to my
I would-
attention.
In my opinion, and just, yes, sir.
Past history, being one of the older ones here. Nobody really knows who owns that road.
Okay.
Village denies it, township denies it, county denies it. So nobody does anything with it. just to give you a little back history. Before
And
you
I
wanna go
also,
send our truck out there with stone.
right, which I wasn't planning on doing, but I also heard that when it was in better condition, people would just go throw their trash back there.
It
And
was,
since-
we did couches and chairs
Yeah,
and
I don't like that either.
stuff and tires and everything else back in there. It would cost an enormous amount of money to the village to redo that road. And basically, it's not like, well, we don't care about it, but that road is just used by farm equipment to get from one field to the next field. And Jeremy only owns that one section or takes care of that one section simply because it comes off of the road that they do maintain, the township maintains. So, unless someone wanted to come to a village board meeting and express their concern, there is no homes there except that white one. And that White House is unincorporated, so that is not in the village of Grant Park. So I think it would be in best interest of the village just to, leave it as it is. Because it would take an enormous amount of work to do it. There is a culvert probably middle ways down that
Yes.
goes across the road that in heavy rain, it does wash out. Even in a four-wheel drive truck, you have a really hard time getting through there. But the farmers that do use that, when it's wet, they go in the field and go around and come back on the road. So that's just my opinion.
Fine with
Sounds
that.
good.
Okay, and the only other thing, that the Public Works is requesting, anything that needs to be done before the fest, please let them know before, I mean, as soon as possible, as opposed to waiting to the last minute, so that there's not chaos.
Still not 3:30 on Friday.
Right, that's not good. So that's all I really have for, Public Works.
Thank you, Ms. Dana Hay. Finance Committee, Mr. Gary Morgan.
A few months ago, we received a TIF application from KC's Custom Detail. And we assisted him with reworking it a couple of times. And this last time that he submitted it in July, we went ahead and sent it on to Mindy Barrett, our TIF administrator. And we also sent it to Mike Santucci, the TIF attorney. And you have Mindy's report as well as the application that was sent in. The attorney is trying to get a hold of Mindy and Jamie and I, so we can talk about anything that he has to be concerned about. I'm sure what he's gonna ask, are we going to go ahead and allow the redevelopment contract to be written for the amount that Mindy says is appropriate, which is about $34,000. I think it's 34,700. And he's also going to ask, do we want to do it over the 3 years that we have been doing the recent ones? The only one that we didn't do 3 years was the Historical Society. We basically did it one for them. Everybody else has done it for 3 years. So again, those are the kind of questions the attorneys probably. And all I'm looking at this is some feedback from you. Do you think 34,700 is okay? Or, you know, again, we don't have to vote on it or anything. If you've got any concerns, we can wait till it actually comes up as a vote on it.
I have a question, it's just so I understand better.
Yeah.
So we grant this to the business and, you know, I hope he stays in business, but what guarantee do we have? We put this money in.
Yep.
And a year from now, he goes out of business. So we made these improvements. I see his parking lot for asphalt and garage doors and some interior work in that. And then we don't own the property, but we invested in the property. Now we have nothing for our investment.
And again, what happened is we did that with the Drunken Monkey. It was a 5-year contract and they basically lasted 3 years. Then we stopped paying them. We paid them 3 years and it improved the property, and of course Flanagan's has taken advantage of that improvement, but basically we stopped. So that's basically what we would do. We would approve a 3-year contract, say, and we would pay him every one of those 3 years if it was still in business. But then once that's done, the money's invested. And again, it worked out with like Sharper Homes, Bennett Curtis has had a couple of them. Reflecting Image has had one, and generally they've stayed in business, but again, Drunken Monkey didn't.
Yeah, well, I know there is no guarantees. Anything can happen economy wise and, you know, maybe his business does great and maybe it goes the opposite direction. But I just wondered, what protection the village.
Basically, we don't get any protection. You know, it's, we stop paying if they go out of business during the contract.
That's, good answer. I appreciate, no, I mean, that's as fair as you can be.
Yeah.
If they meet the criteria, you cannot deny them. I mean, we're not the property owners, but if you want to, people invest in the town, this is the chance that you have to take on a business and say, well, as long as you meet everything that you need to meet here, this is the best that we can do.
And again, Mindy Barrett has basically said that everything that's in here is fine. And again, we'd only do the 34,000. He already has some money to pay for the other improvements. And in fact, he did improvements, already taking place that we can't even look at. Like he asphalted the front.
And that cannot be
It
included.
can't be included.
It has to be worked after TIF has been
Work
approved.
after. Can't do any of this until we finalize the contract and he signs the contract, and then he does it.
I see that there's interior,
There are some interior things.
and I did not think that TIF included interior work.
Well, Mindy says these are all right.
I think we were told it was something wherever the customers were gonna be, that's how we did with the bathrooms and Flint. So
Yes,
some
and
safety
again,
risks somewhere.
the overhead doors are significant. Of course, the big expense is the asphalt. But interior paint, interior light improvement. So those are some things that are inside.
Fair enough. I mean,
Okay.
that's as honest as we can be. So thank you for.
And again, we'll meet with the attorney on the phone, and then he'll say whatever he's gonna say, and we'll make the final arrangements. Then we bring the resolution to you guys, and you see the redevelopment contract and resolution, and then you can actually vote on it.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions concerning that?
Okay, that's all I can think.
Okay, Mr. Morgan. Community outreach, me. I had spoken, Saturday to the residents on Meadow Street and let them know about the parking situation for the car show. And I put it on social media. And, everybody is, I guess, on the same page with me that what we're gonna have. I mean, I told them, sorry for the inconvenience. It's only gonna be for this set of hours. Met with the guys at the maintenance department, today. I'm going to drive the safety vehicle at the end of the parade, the Dodge. When the parade ends, I'm gonna pick up some barricades and drop some off at my house. Jeremy's providing some larger ones that we're gonna have on the highway, and I'm gonna have one here. And in the morning, I'll put the signs up that we got from Vistaprint for the car show and the banner. And I will tape off an area here so we don't get anybody too close. I don't want anybody to knock the fencing down by the plants. I want to kind of keep things corralled here as best I can. Food trucks are going to be in this parking lot area here. The weather is supposed to be 79 and sunny, so I hope we have a good turnout. There are going to be trophies in here. They're going to take care of the award ceremony in here. I have a girl that lives across the street from me, actually. She does some muscle car art. She's gonna have it on display in here. They're gonna be selling T-shirts in their 50-50 contest. So I think we'll have a good day. I hope we have a nice crowd. We've been advertising it to Moni and Bourbon, Bradley, Kankakee, everybody's what's happening in their town. So I think the word is out there. Now we'll just wait for somebody to get here. And then during the car show, we will announce and keep announcing about the burnout competition and the kids event down there. So when people are done here, or done looking at cars, they can head over across the tracks and take advantage of the burnout and the kids' activities they get going on there. So that's all I have. Building is in grounds, Miss Robin Bruni.
I have nothing for buildings and grounds, but Christine, I wanted to promote your rodeo. Right, on Saturday, 10 to 11, I think. You just came back in the backpack now for my kids, so that's how I know about this. And it's 5 to 10-year-olds or how?
We said 4 to 11-year-olds roughly. It's like preschool to 5th graders. I mean, we'll take your kids too if they want to come. We don't really know what the turnout's gonna be, but we're pretty much gonna just check over their bikes. So it's a safety check, make sure that their brakes are good, the crank arms are tight. And they have all the reflectors, that kind of stuff. And then they need to have a helmet. If they don't, we'll have a few on site. I can't say that they'll fit. But then the kids will do a safety course. And then once they're done, they get a certificate that's worth 10% off in the store and then a popsicle. Yeah. But, that's great. Thanks.
I have nothing else.
Thank you, Ms. Rooney. Ms. Worrell is not here and the chief isn't here. Village President Hawkins isn't here. We don't have a motion to go in executive session, I don't believe. We have a motion to adjourn.
A motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Nice job, President.
Stumbled through that.